Well, the time is just gone 9:57 a.m. as we continue, and the final discussion we are having this morning in conversation with the spokesperson and CEO of the South African National Muslim Women's Forum. We're talking with Sister Shamshad Sayed. We're talking about the first ladies Qira'ah Jalsah in KwaZulu-Natal. Now, I know these events have been held by the South African National Muslim Women's Forum in many areas, many places right around Gauteng, but this is definitely the first for KwaZulu Natal, and it is a blessed day of Jummah. Alhamdulillah, it is a day where we get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a day where we recite abundant durood on Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also the noble Quran and the message. And Alhamdulillah, this is a wonderful effort, a great initiative on the part of our sisters, our mothers, and the South African National Muslim Women's Forum. Sister Shamshad Sayed, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jummah Mubarak to you and welcome.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jummah Mubarak to you, one and all, and Salam Media, to all your wonderful listeners, viewers, etc. Shukran for having us.
Yes, all the wonderful work that the South African National Muslim Women's Forum, throughout the years, and to keep our sisters, our mothers inspired, to keep them motivated, to keep them energized. And obviously, the highlight on your calendar and the Muslim Women's Forum calendar is the annual Qira'ah Jalsah. And for the first time now, taking it to KwaZulu-Natal.
Yes, absolutely. I'm just reminded of the genesis of the whole thing, Brother Inayat. We started at the invitation of Qadi Bashir Patel years ago when he said there needed to be a platform for women to perfect the recitation of the Quran through tajweed and correct tajweed and makharij. And there were so many things for boys, there still are, alhamdulillah. But this has grown into something so phenomenal, as you rightly said. It's like the highlight of the South African National Muslim Forum calendar. Alhamdulillah, now it's in Durban. But the main thing is we've had in the past experiences, girls then being inspired to become Hafiz of Qur'ans, women as old as 83, 86 becoming Hafiz of Qur'ans, girls as young as 2 and 3. And there's been a growing number of interest in the Quran, making it the center of their lives, alhamdulillah. So it was always an intention to take it to the different provinces, because we do find participants flying down from Cape Town or from Durban or from Port Elizabeth or different provinces in Mpumalanga, Northern Province, etc. Now, hopefully we can take the initiative with KZN starting. And I must say, Sister Hawa Patel, who just lost her mother recently, it was her wish, her mother's wish, to bring the Qira'ah Jalsah to Durban. And may this be an Isale Sawaf for her, inshallah. She just passed away. It's exactly 2 weeks on Sunday. So Allah accept, inshallah. Jazakallah.
Yeah. No, in fact, our condolences also go to Sister Hawa Patel. Obviously, we've had a wonderful relationship with Sister Hawa over the years. Alhamdulillah, very, very supportive of the media, the various initiatives, the various projects. Alhamdulillah, so our du'as go with her, and of course, her mom as well. Rahimahumullah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted Jannah. But, coming back, obviously, and you mentioned the increase in the number of Hafizas who are inspired by events like the Qira'ah Jalsah. And I know you're calling it a Qira'ah Jalsah, and I'm sure there must be absolutely beautiful recitation, by our sisters, But always, I think, you've also had a theme throughout the years as far as these Qira'ah Jalsahs are concerned, because it's about the recitation of the Quran, but also sending a very, very powerful and a profound message to our sisters.
Yes, no, definitely. The theme has always been the centrality of the Quran. We either link it to Al-Aqsa, etc. And I think this year, just everything, because if you're looking at Al-Aqsa, we're looking at Sister Afia Siddiq, we're looking at the abuse of the Quran in certain parts of the ignorant world. It's our initiative as women, as caretakers of the Ummah, as the flag bearers of the Ummah, as the nucleus of society, to take the tune quite differently, to bring to bear upon the Ummah the reality of the Quran. You see, of all the unseen articles of faith, Brother Inayat, we have Imani Mufassal Amantu Billahi Malaikati wa Kutubi wa Rasuli wal Yawmil Akhiri wa Qadri Khairi wa Sharri min Allah Ta'ala wa Ba'asi Ba'adun. We have not seen the prophets of Allah. We have not seen all the books except the Quran. We have not seen destiny. We have not seen Taqdeer. We have not seen the rising after death. We have not seen Qiyamah. We have not seen Allah. We have not seen Rasulullah. We have not seen the year after. what we have seen and what we do have is the Quran. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't understand the beauty of the Quran. And when we read Salah, we are talking to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when we read the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to us. So sometimes we don't know these simple things, or we don't take it, or we take it for granted. I'm reading the Quran because maybe perhaps I must, or maybe I'm reading the Quran once a day. Finishing the Quran once a year. Maybe we want to now encourage ourselves to read once a month and complete once a week, etc. So the recitation is extremely important, because you do get a reward for every alphabet. 10 rewards. There is no this thing about that. There's no argument about that. There's a question about it. In Ramadan, that is increased. But we should not only increase the reading of the Quran. Then now is the time when all the fitna and fasad and the forerunners of the Dajjal are all around us. Now is a time to really increase the Quran and make the Quran the center of it. What is feared by many of us is that soon, with the abuse of the Quran, who knows, Allah will take the Quran away as He promised, because it was revealed to us from the Lahul Mahfuz, the preserved tablet, revealed to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam over a period of 23 years. But in one night it can be taken if we don't respect and regard the Quran as the center of our lives. So yes, our guest speaker will be speaking about the centrality of the Quran in our lives. And also you'll notice we speak about Sister Afia Siddiqui, but this has been with us from the time we started, and that Bashir invited us. It was also at the same time that Sister Afia Siddiqui's plight was brought to the fore by Brother Monty, and the host of other radio stations as well. And we then initiated this Qira'ah Jalsah at the same time, gave it a theme because we discovered through Sister Fawzia Siddiqui the love that Sister Afia Siddiqui has for the Quran. She is Dr. Alima Hafiza Afia Siddiqui. And not just that, not just reciting the Quran, as the mother said when she was expecting her, she read the Quran a lot, and Afia herself read the Quran a lot. But the way Afia made the Quran the center of her life. For example, she took very seriously the verses of the Quran with regard to charity. So she would find, for example, a stray dog, bring it home, and her father's a doctor, and tell her father, see to it, you're a doctor. And then also she had this beautiful, I don't want to speak to her in past tense, but she's still alive. She, every stop that the tuk-tuk would stop, she would give charity out, and because people are asking, they say, but why you already gave? She says, while I have, I will give. And, this is pure charity. So little things like that, it make us better Muslims. And also the miraculous connection she has with Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in her dreams, in her life, and the miracles that have, permeated as a result of her loving the Quran. And the strength that she has is because her love, her appreciation, her living and loving the Quran, basically. So those are the themes. But this year we just said centrality of the Quran, because Al-Aqsa is related to us through the Quran, is related to us through the Isra wal Mi'raj. It is an important, it's a fight that is most legitimate, that should be fought on a daily basis. So all these things come together in more than 72 times, I think, in the Quran. It's mentioned the importance of Al-Aqsa, to the extent that when the wife of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Maymuna, asked him, what is the importance of Al-Aqsa? And he said, if you can't go, then you should, if you can't visit, then at least send oil to be burnt. So what is the oil? What is the oil what is the thing that's needed most, in terms of, if you're looking at the oils, by parables, it is the support, the love, the care, the concern, the awareness. It is the fight for Al-Aqsa, so all these things ties up with the Quran, and sometimes we don't, all of us guilty for that, we don't understand the reality of it. And also 2/3 of the Quran, Brother Inai, talks about interpersonal skills, talks about how we should live, how we should eat, how we should interact, how we should respect, how we should forgive, etc. These things are all in the Quran. It's a blueprint on how we should live. It's a way of life. And the practical example of that was Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So the combination makes for a potent form of living, way of life for us to follow. There is no need to go to 10,000 psychotherapists and psychologists, etc., or psychiatrists when the Quran talks to us. So, basically, once it tells you about the hudud laws, and, when the antagonists of the Quran want to defame us in some way. They look at two things, which is the status of women, which is in the Quran is very high, and because it says Ar-Rijal Qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa, men are maintainers and protectors of women, and with it a host of other things, what is hers and will always be hers long before the West discovered or the East discovered the rights of women. And then also with it also is the hudud laws, and we, if you will agree, in this day and age, we should seriously look at the hudud laws that the Quran has, because people are sick and tired of crime. So all things said and done, I think it's important to bring to bear on the ordinary Muslimah that this is what the Quran is and what should be for us. This is how we should be living it. So with your du'as, inshallah, Brother Night, we'll take it throughout the country. I know other provinces have been asking, but inshallah, COVID came and put a real damper on it, but it didn't stop us. We continued, and now we're out in KZN.
Well, inshallah, obviously, we make dua for a huge success of the Jalsa and for the first time in KwaZulu-Natal. But, Sister Shamshad, there's just so much you've actually said in the last few minutes. And, with a Qira'ah Jalsa like this, just to address some of these issues. And it is so important for us to understand. For example, you spoke about the burning of the Quran, and this is.
Mm,
There's even more reason to cherish and to value the Quran. You speak of Sister Afia Siddiqui, and we know her love for the Quran. Her sister's just
mm,
come back not very long ago from visiting her sister for the very first time after many, many years. And during that interview with one of the American, I think, Pakistani senators was actually present with her in the cell where he quoted something from the Quran. And Afia Siddiqui actually corrected him and she
mm.
recited the entire chapter just to say that even in that state, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has protected her mind and her memory just by being the Hafiza of the Quran. That's
Absolutely,
another issue. You speak about the Masjid al Aqsa and the importance of Masjid al Aqsa, the whole issue about other challenges that our youth are faced with, the whole LGBTQ agenda. The Quran message is very, very clear. Quran speaks of men, women. All these things are being addressed, and through a forum like this, like a Qira'ah Jalsa, these are messages that go out to the Muslim Ummah so that we come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because that is obviously the main aim and objective for us to be as close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as possible.
absolutely. One other thing that we have to mention in Surah Al-Ma'idah, it is said that, did you know that gambling and intoxicants are the mischief of the devil? Will you then not desist? So this is also a great challenge that you are finding. So it's a basic, simple thing, remedy of which desist in every way. So these are the things that we need to bear upon. But the recital is very important. This is the starting point. Why you get the rewards? It's important to read with the correct tajweed and makharij. Highly, highly, highly important. It's something we did in madrasa and we tend to forget. We read our own. All of us are guilty for it, but then we can possibly change the meaning if we don't recite correctly. So this is what it is essentially about. And when they are reciting, Brother Inaya, there is a huge screen where the translation is then sent out. So while there is point of silence where the reciter is reciting, children as young as 2 and 3 and as old as 80, etc., there is the translation on a massive screen. So you're learning the meaning of it at the same time, and hopefully you can implement it. And you won't believe the serenity that descends, the Inayat, on that day. It's a day you give for the Quran. It's not easy for people to travel that way. It's not easy to leave the comforts of your home on a Sunday morning. But then it's such a blessing to be among the angels, Hamidin and Shahidin, as they descend here to witness that you are in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And teaching the ladies, it's a teaching session. Each child gets assessed, but it's not a panel beating thing. The adjudicator, which we are very honored to have, by the recommendation of our always a mainstay educators, Hafiza Juwaria, she's brought in one of her students who's Sister Aisha Dufura, who's Hafiza. Recently, she took part in an international Quran memorization competition in the USA. So she's going to be our educator. So what they do is, as you are reading, they just, for example, make notes with regard to your makharij and your tajweed, and they hand it to you quietly, so then you can then discuss that with your asatizas, etc. So alhamdulillah, we try to make it all round wholesome. And at the end of the day, there is breakfast and lunch. And we're hoping to meet all our sisters out there in KZN. We haven't met in a while because of many of reasons that were beyond our control. But inshallah, hopefully that we can bond the sisterhood that we have, and then we can recreate other ones, and Allah take us all from strength to strength. Do make dua for us, Brother Inai, that this goes well, inshallah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts it from us, inshallah. And I'm glad you brought up the LGBTQ thing very profoundly, because that is the most heinous sin, most. And I think we as parents now, we as parents are complaining that this is happening, that's not happening. And the Quran is very clear about that. Don't complain, take control. And it's been for a period of time, Brother Inai, we've been all in education, we've been told by the powers that be, let the children be free. So these are the things, if you look at some of the songs that we're playing, Cliff Richard used to sing, the young one, shouldn't they be free? All these things, the gender would be running for a while. But in Islam, there's no Bali, there's no teenage years. This was a creation of post-1929 depression to create a market for things. But in Islam, it's basically simple. Once you balik, you're answerable for your sins. There is no teenage years. It's just that your responsibility starts at that time. You're being answerable for all of the actions that you do starts at that time. And these are the things that we need to bring to the fore. Alhamdulillah, Rasulullah had young commanders as young as 18, 17, 19. Muhammad al-Qasim, I think, was 17. And so, it's important, because it brings a whole an aspect, other variables in that are so important in our daily lives. Sometimes it just takes a thought to put your mind in order, not a whole book. It just takes one simple thing that, and we also say, we hope to say this as well, that, use the Quran every day. Sometimes you've got a problem, just open the Quran. Maybe you'll find the answer in that verse. Sometimes you're having a problem, in the middle of the night, just open the Quran, see the translation. What does it say if you don't understand the Arabic? It's possibly this Quran is going to talk to you and give you the answer. If people have found those miraculous experiences, and, I know of young girls who subsequent to the Qira'ah Jalsah would then read the Quran after every salah. How beautiful is that? So we want that that connection with the Quran to become the mainstay of our lives. There are so many books, but the ultimate book is the Quran. It is such a sacred book, such a beautiful book, and it breaks our heart. It kills us a million times to see what disrespect has been given to that. But, it's something that should open our eyes wide open. And
Well, Sister Shamshad, yes, just finally, the event, when is it going to be held, and just what can people expect at the program?
Right. It's going to be held on Sunday, the 30th of July. It's actually the 12th of Muharram. It's going to be at the Crescent Hall in Palak. And they can expect to be sitting in the day of Quran recital, speeches, inspiring speeches, a day of interaction, and yes, obviously having light meals together, but a day of complete connection with the Quran, a lifelong experience, a lifelong continuation, inshallah, as we move forward in life. Do join us and keep us in your du'as that everything goes well, and whatever challenges there are, that we overcome it, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from us and from everybody who's put in the effort. I'd like to congratulate the Durban team, Sister Shaida's Jazbai, Sister Yasira and company, that you're doing a phenomenal job out there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from you. So I'm in a shaking team. So many names, I don't even know some of them, but these are the three that come to mind, that Allah accept it from you all and give you a barakah, and may this be a memorable meeting with the Quran for all of us till eternity, inshallah.
Well, inshallah, and inshallah, it goes well, and obviously we encourage that our sisters can actually come together and pull something off like this once again. Alhamdulillah, inshallah, we make dua for the success.
We had 11, and the last one was just a few months ago. We have had 11 in the Gauteng area, so this is our basic 12th one, but the first one in KZN. So just make dua, inshallah.
Inshallah, Allah make it easy. Allah, make it grant you success, inshallah, and everybody else, inshallah, and more importantly, the message, and to achieve the objectives of hosting an event like this. So Allah accept, Allah reward your efforts, and everybody else that's associated with the South African National Muslim Women's Forum. Have yourself a wonderful Jummah, inshallah, as well. Shamshad, and all the best in Durban. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That was Shamshad Sayed, the spokesperson and CEO of the South African National Muslim Women's Forum, with us. Obviously, the KwaZulu-Natal First Ladies Qira'ah Jalsah, and this is going to be at the Crescent Hall in Apalok in Durban this coming Sunday, starting at around 9:30 a.m. Now, before we take leave of you, just a quick reminder about the spiritual and educational journey with Salam Media and Friends departing on the 25th of September, returning on the 2nd of October. The tour operated by Ayub Dadaba. You can contact Ayub on 082 786 0078, or you can contact us at Salam Media on 011 680 0355. This is the Al Aqsa, and the package includes return flights on Ethiopian Airlines from Johannesburg, 6 nights accommodation at the Hashmi Hotel, which is in the Old City, breakfast, supper included, ziyarats at Al Aqsa with renowned experts, local activities, and a lot more. The price per person, really, it's a bargain. 29,999 Rand. And this is the spiritual and educational journey. Show your love for Masjid al Aqsa the- and of course for the people of Palestine. And they always say that if you want to show your love for us, come visit us, show your solidarity, show us that Al Aqsa means so much to you. It is our first Qibla, it is the third Haram, and it is an area. And that is an area where you will be stepping on, an area where you will be putting your head down, an area where every Anbiya, every Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made sajda on those blessed lands and that blessed ground of Masjid al Aqsa. So be part of this tour, and you can contact us on 011 680 0355. With that, I'm going to be signing off from myself and the team. Have yourself a great Jummah, inshallah. And obviously, the day of Ashura, alhamdulillah, coming up. And let us remind ourselves that we need to spend that little bit extra on our families. Today being the day of Jummah, increase your durood, salawat on Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, recite Surah Kahf as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you all the best. Allah grant you rizq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you barakah in your lives and your children as well. And with that, next up, Juice 10 by Sheikh Yasin Al Dosari. And from myself and the team, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.